Yeah, I'm losing my
What
edge.
is safe is building pairs trades.
Absolutely.
Usually considered less risky than trading the outrights themselves, and we consider them more creative. I can give 100% confidence behind that. A more creative trade.
Different set of extremes, different set of dynamics. The trade-off used to be, Frankie, and you know this because we've spent a lot of time teaching this, complexity. When you're looking at two products that have vastly different quoting conventions, vastly different notional sizes, you go into the weighting. Now, so many of our, of the Tasty Nation have done this heavy lift because it's the only way you could take advantage of that extra set of opportunities. So one of the cool things that I think we're going to be talking about, and I'm putting on my medieval times I'm the wizard, clairvoyant hat. That's kind of where we're going with this. So let's walk through it.
Okay, well, this is a problem, though, that I can't let pass up. People constantly mix up medieval times with like science fiction times. People constantly think like Lord of the Rings, oh, that was just like 600 years ago. No, like that's not, or like Game of Thrones, this was a big thing. But there's a difference between like wizards and that type of world and medieval times. So
I got a clarification. Renaissance fair is the outside one with the guys dressed up in costume. Medieval wizards in indoor jousting.
There aren't wizards in either of those, though.
No,
like you're not going to read a textbook.
You know what? At Renaissance, you could be whatever you want. So if I showed up in a wizard costume, I might get judged. But chances are they're kind of cool. They let me go.
And that is the best part. That is the best part of that culture is that you can dress up, you can be whoever you want, and no one will judge. I can appreciate that, and hopefully people will start to judge this pairs trade that we're going to construct, going A to Z. Equity markets looking quite quiet here, Pete, near the all-time highs, flirting with some downside action, but always bouncing back. And you can see here this window for the last call it 3 months, Pete, has been just like a grind higher. Like I said, a little flirtation with some downside, but just, nothing too interesting going on as they sit at those all-time highs. But when stocks get boring, Pete, stock trading must get creative. And I got this question today from a nice viewer on email. And he was just like, where do I start with this stuff? Like you guys talk about, trading the 2-year against the 10-year, or you talk about trading US dollars against maybe some of the commodities that are priced in US dollars. And he was like, I don't understand where you're getting all of this info from. And I was like, of course you can crunch correlations and everything else, but you can at very least try to reason some of this stuff out. And that's what we're going to do today. You look at this stock market, SM75, which we just, showed a chart of here. And here are the contents: technology stocks, material stocks, energy stocks, industrials, and financials. And so, what is the most basic way to kind of reason out a pairs trade, Pete, is, I can trade the stock market against some of its components. And thankfully, SM75 and STIX, you've got the stock market at large, technology stocks, that specific sector there, and they don't individually look like there's too much going on. But you look at this chart here, the same time frame as this movement here, where it's like, oh yeah, equity markets are grinding higher. There's nothing to do there. The broad market, Pete, has really beaten up this technology sector recently. I mean, you look at it today and there's this chart, I need to almost update it, another $1 of upside in SM75 over STIX. Now this is intriguing, but this is like, we didn't even need to crunch any numbers, right, Pete? It's just like if the stock market holds technology, you could trade technology against the stock market. Absolutely.
And this is what I loved. And I kind of knew where you were going, so I already sold an SM75 and bought a STIX because, and granted, sometimes we toot our own horn, maybe a little bit too much, but I looked at the difference in the spread, and it's 750 points. That's all I need to look at. Okay, yeah. I know it's been trading between 400 and 600, 750. No conversion of, well, what's the difference between an S&P and an NASDAQ? Because the ticks are different. That's the extreme. Boom. The fact that I could figure out just looking at the watch list, I love. So you know what? There's your extreme right there. And I agree with you. I think this relenting, broader based run against technology will take a little bit of a breather. Am I looking for it to go back to zero? And think about this. Just 3 months ago, we were trading this around the zero bound.
Yeah.
2 pairs trades. So a lot of movement. Absolutely.
And this is what's great is that, you look at the outright markets themselves and it's just like, A to B is just a grind higher.
Right.
You look at this and it's like, yeah, they got up to $6, came all the way down to zero, like Pete's talking about, and then got up to $6 as recent as last week. We traded it, we took it off, and now this chart, if it was updated, like Pete said, $750 of difference, or just $7.50, this chart would be all the way up here through a recent extreme for this pairs trade. And Pete, you alluded to it, but I will do some house cleaning to end the segment here. Building your pairs trade. I hope people got some good idea of how to creatively think about a pairs trade. It really is as simple as like, is this product really similar to this other product? Okay, now let me look at them and analyze, is there a big difference? Should I play a convergence or divergence? Of course, correlations help, but you don't necessarily need to crunch them. You can see the correlation here, SM75 to sticks, positive 0.85. It's very high. And what's really, really nice is at the small exchange, most of these pairs trades, just 1-to-1. It's as simple as building a pairs trade can get.